We do things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.
All right. Welcome to another week of Manifestations 2020. This is a brand new year, second season. This is a second year on here. So grateful and proud, man, of the year we had last year. We had a lot of great content, a lot of great guests. And this year we have so much more coming to you guys. That's going to be new, taking in effect as soon as possible. And the guest that is lined up for this year is definitely off the chain. So we definitely appreciate everybody for following us, just supporting us. giving us the awesome feedback, man. We love it. And we're coming bigger and better this year, 2024. We are glad for everybody that made it this year. I know it's kind of hard for you guys during the holidays with families because a lot of you have family members that have transitioned. I saw a lot of people transitioning around a little before Christmas. Some people transitioned after Christmas, and some even transitioned on New Year's and a little before New Year's. So they didn't even get to fully come into New Year's, after, a stressful 2023 that a lot of people went under. So for all of you that did make it, that are here, we appreciate you. You made it. You did something that so many other people wasn't able to do. Now that you're here, you know that you're supposed to be here for building greatness, accomplishing greatness, and continue on your path and your journey. If you haven't found your purpose, man, this might be the year for you to find your purpose and start the journey that you need to be on. There's no it's not a coincidence that you're here, because on earth you everybody here has a purpose. So your purpose hasn't been fulfilled yet. Your journey hasn't been started yet. So continue that journey, continue that light to get on that journey so you can start your purpose and help build your community and your people in the process. It is a wonderful, wonderful process that I know so many people have gone through. Myself, purpose for me gives me light throughout all the dark tunnels. All right, so definitely find that purpose. We're here, 2024. Manifestation is going to come and bring it to you guys. Super, super dope. And maybe you can find your purpose through our platform. All right, with that being said, I want to hand it over to my fellas and ask them how their 2024 is going so far and how the 2023 was and, what you guys are looking forward to this year.
Brother, my 2023 is splendiferous thus far. There's something in the background making a little thumping noise. I don't know what that is.
It sounds like a wind.
Yeah, something. I don't know if I don't know. Just wanted to put that out there. Maybe one of you has something going on. But yeah, everything is good, man. It's splendiferous. I'm feeling good coming into the new year, guns blazing. The missus is good, the mother's good, Pop's fam is good, man. Looks like this year is tailor made for me and us. The way it started off, call out culture is in full effect. Mr. Cat Williams came through and dropped bombs. You dig? And a couple other folks out here getting in the spirit. And we getting it in this year. I like the energy thus far this year, so I can't complain, man. I'm always ready. You stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So I'm game. I'm on it, man. It feels great so far, man. And I just want to see where the ride takes us. You dig? We got our new stuff launching, the new logo, the new theme. All that's coming. It's coming real soon. So y'all stay tuned. We about to get down.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Bobby.
Merry 2024, everybody. It's glad to be back in the house. Survived another 365. Here to do it all over again.
Yay.
What am I looking forward to, man? I've never ever, I've never been a person that's big on or does the whole New Year's resolutions thing. I've always been of the mindset that you don't need to wait for January 1st to come in order to do something new, to change, to flip the game, whatever. The instant you decide that you need to make a change, to do different, that's the time to go ahead and do it. So I've never felt like I was handcuffed to that. But I'd be a little naive if I didn't acknowledge that even if it's just the energy of others around the changing of the years, there's some level of power to that. And so I've decided to kind of tap into and embrace that a little bit. And I just decided that this year really want to attack everything, like with a survival instinct level almost. So I'm just on 10 right now. Like I'm quiet, I'm chill, but below the surface, the current is a riptide. The energy's pulse and the veins are just, squeezing, contracting. I'm ready. Already taken some big steps for the year so far, just on a personal level. Really doing things to really focus on the mindset and really getting the engine together that we're going to attack the year with. So I'm ready to apply this to everything: manifestations, the career, personal life, my side goals. I'm ready for it. I feel good. I'm looking forward to this year, man. I know manifestations is definitely going to be the crown and jewel on the tiara. So, gentlemen, let's get to work.
All right, that's what's up. I felt like the new year wanted to come in the new year um, on my Pan African foundational black vibe. So, I wanted to come in with the mix of it, representing both sides as far as, I am from the Caribbean. So I get that Pan African side and I fight hard for my brothers and sisters on the foundational black side. So I wanted to come in with the dashiki, right? So I had the dashiki to represent the Pan African side, and I got my Scully because you come through with the Scully for my foundational black side. So
I
so
smell you.
wanted, yeah, I wanted to represent both sides. You feel me?
Yeah.
Coming into New Year's, I want both sides to understand how important it is for us to get on the code of conduct, for us to understand that building together is super dope, but we need to eliminate the Sambos and the raccoons from both sides. Once we get that, we draw the line, the sand in the line. I mean, we draw the line in the sand, and we get those people out of our community, then we'll function on a high level and a high frequency that we need to do in order to start to build back that Black Wall Street. Because that Black Wall Street is definitely something that we need to get back to, and the importance of it. And I think what we've seen through our brother Cat Williams was drawing that line in the sand, and putting the people, the raccoons and the Sambos, in their place and exposing them for who they are. I've seen a lot of people say it's hate because one side of that's being exposed makes way more money than what Cat Williams makes. But you got to understand there's a system in place to reward Sambos and raccoons because it keeps us divided. It destroys a lot of our morals and a lot of the foundation of Black in excellence and the purity of Blackness. And they're paid to represent us in a degenerate way. And we gotta call that out. So that's why a lot of people were standing with Cat Williams, because we're tired of the Sambos and the raccoons that side with the dominant society and leave us high and dry when it's out here for anything that needs to be positive for Black folks and then trying to move in a positive direction. So we just want to make sure that 2024, you have to take that same stance as well. There's no more straddling the fence. You got to pick a side and you got to run with it. I think it's very important for us to do that in order to move forward. We haven't done this kind of exercise before. And I see that since we've been doing it for the last couple of years, I see it's trending in a good direction to get us back on code. So definitely much needed for that. And shout out to our brother Cat Williams, who definitely laid out the internet this week. Got Shannon Sharp up to 30 million views. And that is super important because the message needed to be out there towards the masses. And I thought that was super dope because normally 30 million views is normally somebody beating up another Black person or killing another Black person or doing something degenerate, showing Black people normally get that type of views. I rather you get those type of views calling out the bull crap and exposing what's going on, so we can be united and making sure that us collectively aren't taking that same path and straying away from that same path and calling out the people that are doing more harm than helping. So definitely shout out to Cat Williams for the truth don't need motivation. All right,
Ooh,
the
that's a
truth
hard
don't need
quote.
motivation.
Ooh, that's a hard quote.
Yes, the
Yes.
truth don't need motivation.
Oh,
So that's one of our things here at Manifestations is we spit truth to power. We keep accountability on both sides, so there's no biasness. That's what makes this platform super, super powerful. All right. Now, with that being said, I don't know if you guys heard, but there's been an alien sighting that you guys heard in Miami.
yeah.
During this whole Cat Williams thing, there was an alien sighting aliens at a Miami mall. Police say laughing out loud. So people were frantic, talking about they saw an alien down there downtown by Bayside Mall. And then it went viral, and everybody started picking it up on social media, saying, "Is there aliens out here or not?" And then there was one report that was stated about some young kid opening up portals, and he tapped into a portal and opened up a portal. Then there was another guy that went on with his video that was talking about how he seen aliens were moving towards him, and then they disappeared, and then they reappeared. And it was just a bunch of stories out there. And we live in a world where everything is pretty much filmed. And they were saying nobody had any evidence of it, nobody filmed it, there was nothing there. Then they came back with some theory that whatever was in the area of these aliens were knocking out the cameras, and that's why there was no footage or anything there. So we here at Manifestations 2020, as you guys know, this is one of the reasons why you guys follow us. We found some footage of the alien in the mall. So make sure you tell people that we have the information right here. And here we go. So the alien was out here shopping. It's New Year's. He wanted to get some fresh fit, maybe some nice kick. Yeah, maybe some nice kicks that he wanted to take back to his planet. I think they probably dropped the new Christmas Jordans.
It is.
Maybe he was in line for it. Probably needed some new Ray-Ban glasses. Probably got some Ray-Ban glasses in them brown bags as well.
There you go.
But he had a good time. I think we talk about equality. Maybe aliens should be able to shop with regular people. They shouldn't be going through the back door or hovering above the roof. They should come in the regular door like regular people, and I don't think they should be ostracized for it. You know what I'm saying? So we just wanted to show you the footage of the alien that they definitely had in the building. So you saw it here first live on Manifestations 2020 of what the aliens is. When we thought about it, this what we thought when people talk about aliens. So you thought your peoples are coming down here with the froze, the way everybody was frantic. And I saw this AI drawing. I thought that was super dope.
That's definitely fear of a black planet right there.
Yeah, exactly, right. So that was super dope. But in all reality, when we talk about aliens, the real aliens that are here on in our vicinity here on the land is really illegal immigrants. That's what they call aliens. And we joke about extraterrestrials, but we have to be, whether you live in whatever country it is, you want to make sure aliens, quote unquote, illegal immigrants are migrating into your country in a legal way. Otherwise, if they integrate and they migrate into your country illegally, that is just as dangerous as you encountering a UFO, alien from another ship. And the reason why I say it's dangerous is because when you're not recording who is around you, when this person that is walking in your vicinity, in your city, in your town, in your state, and they have no legal documentation to know who that person is just another walking John Doe. So when you have this person in your area, and they kidnap your child, they break into your home, they're robbing you, you don't have nothing substantial that will get this person arrested because they're pretty much flying under the radar per se, or living in the shadows, as they may say as well. And they're just as dangerous. So when we talk about aliens, those are the ones that you guys need to focus on, and that's no ding to anybody who's coming from another country. All we're saying is that when you come here, make sure that you're documented correctly. We just want people documented correctly. And that's just for anybody's safety, because even as an immigrant coming here and you have children and your children get taken by an undocumented immigrant, they're just as good as gone, because there's no way to trace them down, to track them down, to find out who they are, because they're not in the system. So that is very dangerous. So even if you are somebody that's coming in, they came in legally, you should be as concerned as well for your safety and the safety of your family. And I guarantee you, later on down in the year or the coming years, you're going to start seeing a lot of these people that drifted in aren't as angelic as they seem. A lot of them are coming here with agendas. A lot of them are getting paid to do some real, evil things. And we need to know who these people are around us. And shout out to everybody that's standing up to make sure they're keeping their community safe. I know there was an incident where undocumented immigrants were in a white community and they started burglarizing their homes and things like that. The white community got upset. But that same white community was cool with it when they put those illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants, inside the black communities, which therefore the black residents stood up and talked about how they felt unsafe because they don't know these people, and they have to protect their community. And rightfully so, both people have a right to be protective of their community from people that they know are not documented or have no documentation on. So when we talk about aliens, I'm not worried about somebody from the UFO. I'm worried about an undocumented person that's here around in my community that might end up doing harm to the people in my community, and we don't know who that person is, right? So I wanted to pull this up to show what's going on now. Now you have illegal aliens flooding USA, now exempt from firearm background checks, as per law enforcement, right? So they're hireable as law enforcement, and the firearm background check they're exempt from. So now you have somebody that's undocumented who's able to get a firearm and able to be hired in law enforcement. Why is this something concerning? Because as you know, they like to hide a lot of these people's background regularly who are documented here, when it comes to something tragic that goes down with a law enforcement officer. So now you really don't know the person that is behind that badge, because they don't have to, they can input um, input them as any person's name and take them out the system however they please. So you guys got to understand, this right here is a chess move. This is a chess move that is kind of in the way of a Yu-Gi-Oh move. And if you guys watch Yu-Gi-Oh, you'll know that Yu-Gi-Oh always put a face card down. And the face card that he puts down, you don't know what defensive card that is. You don't know what powers that is. So when you strike it, that defense card now he uplifts, and now it's a powerful card to combat whatever you had in store. And I think this right here is one of those Yu-Gi-Oh face down cards. You see it, but you don't really understand it until that time comes. So I definitely wanted to show and share that. Also with ATF is also talking about how It's not legal for them. But remember, I posted this because it was said last reviewed January 30th, 2020. That was 3 years ago. Actually 4 years ago, right? So now they're going outside the realms of legal law to exempt these people. So why are they exempting them? That's something to keep an eye out. Just make sure that you guys are out here protecting your family and making sure that you and your family are safe. All right. All right. So that's it for the alien invasion down here in South Florida. Um, Definitely wanted to show you guys this. Stop allowing yourself to be collateral damage in wars with people that have with themselves. I think in 2024, a lot of people is, you have to start looking at the situation for what it is and make sure that you're not jumping in front of bullets that were never intended for you. I think a lot of times people take up for other people that the bullets weren't meant for. When we talk about things here on Manversations, a lot of times we talk about the dusty dudes and we talk about the ratchet hood rat women. We don't talk about the good women and we don't talk about the good dudes. We're talking about the dusty mentality of these people and we're holding them accountable. So when we holding them accountable, whether you're a man or a woman, don't jump in front of that bullet and take a bullet for somebody that need that bullet intended for them. We got to stop doing that. We got to start putting people and say, hey, you got to accept the accountability for your behavior and accept it and change. Or if you don't accept it and change, then we'll remove you from around us because we don't provide and want that type of energy. That's on you. All right. So definitely something to move forward into 2024. You guys have anything you wanted to add on that before I move on?
Well, definitely you touched on a few things and that I just want to address real quick. Try to stay in my time frame. Um, Hate, one thing that trips me out, like you said, when Cat Williams was talking about what he's talking about, people are talking about how he has hate for the people that he's talking about because they have more money than them. Whenever someone says something that breathtakingly ignorant, it just shows you that their soul is for sale.
Yeah.
What the hell does how much money person X have to do with anything if I'm telling you the truth? If I'm calling out fraud? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing. And then also, in addition to that, one big problem I have with it is, some of these people who are coming out talking about how it's gossip. I say to them, you need to look up the meaning of the word gossip and you need to read more because you clearly don't know what the word means. Gossip is unfounded information or outright lies that you spread about someone or something that you don't know anything about. But if someone has been saying things about you and you come along to clear the record up and set the record straight and expose the lies that have been told, and in this case, just kind of, put a sunlight is the best disinfectant type of effect on the whole damn industry, that's not gossip. You understand? That is something that more of us need to be doing. The reason why you have all these buffoons out here acting all willy-nilly and doing this and that is because nobody's checking them. You understand what I'm saying? People think that they're supposed to be able to just go anywhere and do whatever, and nobody's not supposed to smack them the fuck up. No, that's not how it goes. You understand? You're supposed to get checked. You're supposed to get checked hard. I'm surprised more people haven't been doing this. This is what we need. We need people to come out here, check people hard, and say it with their chest. But everybody's so afraid of getting canceled, so afraid to lose a sponsor, so afraid to offend this group. Fuck your group. That's what Cat Williams was saying. Fuck your clique. You dig? He came in there. First off, fuck your bitch in the clique you claim. That's how Cat Williams came into 2024. Yeah. And it was so popular when Tupac did it because that's what was needed at that time. We got too many damn frauds and fakes running around. And yeah, it's time for the real to come out here and set the tone. You understand? So that's one point that I wanted to touch on real quick. The alien story sounds a little wild, right? Sounds a little wild. I mean, I don't know about all that, but it sounds crazy. 10-foot aliens running around the mall. First of all, what were they doing at the mall? You know, it sounds crazy, but let's keep it a buck. If that happened, wouldn't we all say that sounds crazy?
Yeah.
If it really happened, the first reaction we will have is that, oh, that shit sounds crazy, man. You better go sit your ass down talking that crazy shit. Yeah. It's who knows? Because I'm going to keep it a buck with you. That police presence, it was about 5 blocks full of police cars. It was easily 180 to 100 police cars out there. You going to tell me that was all for some kids fighting in the mall? Bullshit. You dig? So something's up. I'm not sure exactly what. But something went down. You dig? It's very, very strange. And, you know, I like the way you segued into, you know, you're talking about the aliens supposedly in the mall, and you segued into the problem that we have with illegal aliens in this country. And I'm going to preface what I'm saying with what I always say. Black people, immigration is not to your benefit. You dig? These people are trying to import an entire voting and worker class from outside the country. They want that cheap labor, and they want these people to feel indebted to them when they get here so they can vote for them. Shout out to the Democrats. You understand what I'm saying? So they want to basically replace us with these people from these places that, you know, we don't know anything about. It's blowing up in their face because, number one, when they get here, they don't vote Democrat. You understand what I'm saying? And additionally, I mean, you know, like you said, they have a lot of shady dealings and so forth and so on. In any other country, this would be a national crisis. We have over 14 million illegal immigrants in this country. In the United States, it's just cool. That's bullshit. It's the biggest threat that we face to our national security. But no one's doing anything about it. So Black folks, at every junction, we need to push back as hard as we can against illegal immigration. It does not help us in any capacity. And I'll land my point there.
That's what's up. Definitely. Drake?
Oh, man. 2024 is probably going to go down when it's all said and done as the year that everybody and everything just got gangster. Everyone walking around with shotties and just anyone can catch a hole in the chest. It's amazing. I don't have much to say about the aliens except for the fact that we welcome you, Lord Frieza. Welcome. Glad to have some real Saiyans in the house one time for y'all. As far as the illegal aliens go, y'all hit the nail on the head, man. We have to understand that there has been a case ever since emancipation. There has been the age-old Negro question or the Negro problem that they've been working hard to answer. Now that we have these Negroes, these Black people, who are considered by them to be an unemployed workforce, because that's why many of us were brought here in the first place and enslaved as to be a free labor source. Now that these unemployed niggers are no longer free, what do we do with them? And so they can't outright commit an act of genocide against us because they still do share a planet with other individuals, and even if other people feel the same way, the United States is very keen on trying to maintain a presence as a moral authority on the world stage. And even today, with the gross neglect and mistreatment of Black people, they can hardly even open their mouth to even speak on certain things, because the minute they do, an opposing nation who's supposedly considered a profound human rights violator will open their mouth and say, "Hey, y'all can't say nothing to us. We see how y'all do those Black people over there in your country. You don't have any authority to speak or say anything to us." Russia's been noted as going in and punching below the belt on them with that. They tried to get on President Duarte of the Philippines, who enacted that policy where they're taking extreme stance against drug dealing. They're literally killing and murdering off the drug dealers. And when the United States tried to get on them for that, they said, "Hey, you can't talk about us. You have your race soldier police over there executing black people with, extreme prejudice under there, not being prosecuted. You can't say nothing to us." And there are even certain human rights organizations abroad that the United States is not a member of, in part because they know it'll mean that they'll be held accountable for their neglect and mistreatment of us over here. So they can't outright eliminate us. They can't enslave us again, same issue. So how do they deal with this Negro presence? They can't get us anymore to do what they want because it looks as though the benign neglect of Obama being a dud president really was to straw a lot of black people's caps. It really caused a lot of black people to open their eyes and realize, okay, they're really not here for us, because a lot of us thought a black president was going to be the answer. They saw that no, the one that they've selected is just more of the same. So now they've come to the conclusion that we can't depend on black people anymore, right? Because we've been the only racial group for the most part that overwhelmingly votes for one side. Everybody else, white people, Latinos, Hispanics, Asians for the most part, everybody else is more or less 50-50 along divided lines. They're largely split between both parties. Black people have been the only demographic consistently for decades that have primarily voted one way. So since we've shown that we're no longer dependable, they're trying to go ahead and import others that they can hopefully win to the Democrat side to go ahead and replace us. And they're finding out that's not really the case, but that's not stopping them from bringing them over here and then weaponizing these people against us as well. So we have to be mindful of what's going on the grand scale. These are not innocent, harmless acts. They're not doing this out the kindness of the heart because they so care about these illegal immigrants. They so want to make a path that it's not even close to that. So we have to be mindful and allow ourselves to not be used to these ends to support our own destruction and our own permanent underclass status creators. And that's where we are right now in Earth's history at the moment. Like Major also said, the call-out culture is in full effect. Similar to the case with us in recognizing what time it is with legal immigration, we have to understand that silence is compliance. The Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. famously said that in the end, it's not going to be the words of our enemies that we remember, but the silence of our friends. When you sit back and allow dysfunction to go down on your watch around you, you don't say anything, you don't raise a finger, and things start getting worse, you become a party to it. There's a video I saw today where there's this, this family that gets off on basically really torturing their children for clicks and likes and views. I saw one video where they supposedly were presenting Christmas gifts to the kids, and there's one very sweet little girl, chubby, heavy-set girl, probably about maybe 7 or 8 years old, and all the other ones, the big ones, opening toys, opening video games. This little girl walks up, and they present her with a box of Slim Tea, which I thought was absolutely fucking deplorable. Then I saw another video where apparently it was supposed to be a prank with the same family, where the idea of the prank was to tell the kids that they just got to call that mommy's dead and passed away. And you could tell it wasn't any BS. Those kids were boo-hoo sobbing. That was not a did it just for the camera thing. Those kids were going through it. They were having a breakdown, and at the end they do the surprise, they got just a prank or whatever. And I'm seeing people saying, that's disgusting. They just do anything for clicks and likes and views. And I'm like, well, we told y'all a long time ago about the attention whoring when it was just women showing off their bodies and everything else for clout and everything else. When it was the dudes flashing bands and money and doing all kinds of stuff, posing with guns and stuff for clout. We were telling y'all about that then. And then it was the predictable, mind your business, just mind your business. Mind the business that pays you. It doesn't cost nothing to mind your business. It's free. All that nonsense. And here we are, it's escalating now where we have children being sacrificed for views. We have people dying on videos looking for clout. I saw another video where some kids were out here peeling out and doing donuts in a SUV of all things. They're sitting out the window, and predictably the car flipped over and some of the kids had the car, a 2-ton, probably 2.5 tons, excuse me, it's an SUV vehicle falling on top of them. I believe 2 of the kids died, and others are in the hospital for likes and views on social media. At some point, we have to be able to learn to read the tea leaves and recognize when something is going to go wrong. And if you don't have that vision of foresight, that's cool. Everybody ain't able. But when wise people are talking, shut up and listen.
Yeah.
When you have elders, when you have people who are smarter than you talking, you're not supposed to sit there and run your mouth and try to showcase how much you know or don't know. When people who know more than you are talking, or who have better insight than you are talking, you should listen. That's free game.
Yeah.
So we have to become better and make a commitment in 2024 to embracing wisdom and embracing prudence instead of waiting for everything to punch you in the jaw and realize, ow, that's dangerous. At some point, we have to get smart. You know, as human beings, we're supposed to be the most intellectually advanced of all creation, and a lot of us really are failing to live up to that. It's looking like the Dalmatians and the penguins and the geckos are beating a lot of us in the intellectual arms race. We got to
Exactly. Definitely. And that's why tonight's show is primarily about knowing your worth, and understanding your worth. And like Drake was saying, that we were telling you guys that we were out here checking folks and keeping them in line on their worth. When we talk about as far as your worth as a man or a woman, the way you present yourself, how you project yourself, how you carry yourself, all of that uh, basically is projected on your work, how you look, how you carry yourself. When you are out here just doing reckless stuff and somebody says, hey, you're better than that, they're letting you know your worth is better than what you're projecting. Know your worth, because a lot of times, a lot of people see your worth and you don't see it in yourself. And we're having a lot of people that's running around here that don't see their self-worth like that, and then end up doing things that they end up in the long run will come back and haunt you. And shout out to Jeezy for finally knowing his worth. He should have never got with that woman in the first place, but when he realized he made a bad mistake, he got up out of there, but he shouldn't have been in there in the first place. So I'm gonna show you 2 different women, and you'll see how they mirror up with their mate, their husbands, right? So definitely going to show you this one, which is super dope. You have LeBron James' wife, right? Who's been with LeBron James for a long time. And people are noticing that LeBron James' wife only takes photos with other women. That's a boundary she set, that she don't even want to disrespect her husband. She don't even want to put herself in that situation where it can even come off as disrespectful. Not that she can't check the person, but how it's going to make her man look. That's super dope. That's how you want your wife to move. As a man, you move just like how your wife moves. You feel me? And I thought that was super dope. I saw this and I said, you know what? Let me basically, use this as an example to show you how the difference of how women move. So now we go to the opposite side of that. And now you have Jenny May, who's out here thirst trapping after she just got her divorce. And you have a young child that you have with Jeezy. I think the child is what, less than 2 years old? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your child is less than 2 years old. These pictures don't come off the internet. So when your child gets older, your child is going to notice it, and these are the things that you have to live with, and that you might end up regretting down the long run, and it just goes to show you how you maneuver as a wife, how you maneuver as a woman can dictate your life down the road. And we see the difference between 2 women. and we see the outcomes of the two women. So I just wanted to highlight that and pass it back to you guys.
Brother, you said a mouthful. Is when you were talking about the story where you were talking about the other folks and our enemies and the people who rock with us, and you hit that line, silence is compliance. I actually posted, you remember Mila, Sister Mila, I don't know if she's in the chat or not, but she sent a kind of a call to arms, you know what I'm saying, of sorts, but it was a question that she asked that I reposted, that I really, tagged some very knowledgeable brothers that I know on, because I really wanted their feedback. And she just asked a very simple question, how can we improve? And one of the things that I listed on that list of things that we can do to improve as men, is I want to hear more of us be more vocal. It's a lot of brothers out here that have a lot of knowledge, are living their lives exceptionally well. They're good fathers, they're good friends, they're good with their family, they're good husbands, so forth and so on. But when these discussions are taking place where these imbeciles are just flapping their dick suckers, talking utter nonsense, they're not making themselves heard. There aren't enough people in the fold to shout these people down and run them out of the chat. You understand what I'm saying? Or run them out of if they're, on a podcast or whatever, to run them off the podcast, to let them know you sound like a damn fool. There are not enough people doing that. You know what I'm saying? So you can apply this to women too, but the specific question was asked to us. What can we do as men to improve? I think that will improve us as a group, as Black men, by leaps and bounds. Just us opening our mouth, just us checking people when they're out of line, just us telling people to put some respect on our goddamn name. I think that's huge. Not enough of us are out there doing that. I get it. Sometimes people are not argumentative. They're not confrontational. They don't want to rock the boat too much, whatever the case may be. Man, you got to rock on. You dig? You got to be ready for this, man, because if you don't, all these things that you're trying to stay away from, you actually increase the chance of those things finding you, if that makes sense. I was at the Dave Chappelle show a couple weeks ago. Took my wife to see it for her birthday. Very good show, very good stand-up. Shout out, brother Dave Chappelle. And these two guys were not really getting into it, but they looked like they might be getting into it because there was something with the seats. Oh, you're in my seat. We're supposed to be getting those seats, whatever. And the guy who was sitting next to, he's showing me his tickets. I'm like, don't show them to me, show them to him. The guy who's telling him, hey, you need to get your ass up out my seat, basically. And I was just kind of, and my wife was like, no, leave it alone. Don't mess with it. No, I'm going to say something because they look like they might get a little testy. And if they do get a little testy, I don't want them rolling their ass over here on us. So I'm going to try to help them resolve it because they're right next to us. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to try, while it's still peaceful, I'm going to try to help them resolve it. They got it resolved. Everybody was respectful and it was cool. But sometimes it takes that person. You may not think you have power. You may not think you have sway, but I'm telling you, each and every one of us has power. Each and every one of us has sway and has influence. It's just a matter of, are you leader enough to find that inner leader within you and project it and put it out into the world? You understand what I'm saying? Energy is powerful. And I think that a lot of us, really need to find our inner energy and believe in ourselves a little bit and just kind of get in the mix. Not too much to, be confrontational, but to set boundaries and to let people know when they are in the wrong so that we can have what's right, if that makes sense. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yes.
And as far as the comparison of Savannah James versus Jenny May, it's not even fair. I mean, bless her heart. I know Jenny May is just doing the best she knows how. You understand what I'm saying? But that's the problem. You understand? Like, I said this last week. I'm gonna keep saying it and beating this drum until people start dancing to the song. Fellas, leave the trash outside. You dig? Because there's no reason on God's green earth why you should be wiping up something like that. You know, we've been seeing her attitude. We've been seeing the way she carries on, just the reckless shit she says, her slick ass mouth. I don't know what attracted him to her little bony ass to begin with. I really don't know, you know, but it is what it is. I'm glad the brother got himself out of that situation, but this goes back to vetting. And, you know, a lot of these chicks that we want to marry and have kids with, they shouldn't have made the first date, truth be told. You understand? And that's just what it is. Savannah James, you know, other women need to be taking cues from Savannah James. She goes out of her way to not embarrass her husband, who is her leader and the head of her household. That is how it should be done, period, in the story. You understand? So, yeah, you got the Sierras, the Aisha Currys, the Jada Pinkett Smiths. They just go out here. You can almost set your watch by how many times they embarrass their men. But this sister, she carries herself very well, and I really, really respect and appreciate that coming from a Black woman. I love to see Black women carry themselves in the proper way, you know, in a respectful, royal type of way. That's what makes the world go round, goddammit.
Exactly.
I'm vibing that heavy, and I want other sisters to start taking cues from her instead of from Meg the Stallion, Sexy Red, and what's the other one's name, and Sukihana, and all these whimsical characters.
Exactly.
Yeah,
definitely.
I was cute, whimsical. That was a very politically correct way of labeling them. Very, very nice. First off, take my hat off, take my kufi off, take my scully off, take any and all headgear off, and I just gotta bow a few times to Queen Savannah. That woman, you know, I also got to give big ups to LeBron for being settled and grounded early enough to peep that out. And I don't know, I'll have to give some interviews and see if he goes into the stories about their relationship, how they met and everything. But to find a woman like that, period, is difficult. Not a good woman. We're not talking about finding a good woman. We're talking about finding a good woman who, on top of that, has those characteristics and qualities. That's hard enough to do.
Yes.
To find one that early, that's his high school sweetheart. That's a next level blessing right there.
Yeah.
We have been seeing consistently for the past 24, 36 months now, probably some other back and forth then, but consistent almost every couple months has been, you can't go without hearing a new story about some dude, some athlete, some celebrity catching hell, catching stress, catching issues, having some kind of controversy because the broad that he chose either to lay up with, to date or marry, have children with, whatever the case may be, just clowning his ass. Causing all kinds of chaos and headache and ruin, slapping him with child support payments, you know, side chick turns up pregnant or what have you, and then he, you know, tries to, you know, say, well, here's the money to go and get the abortion, blasting the text messages and all kind of extortion scams, just all kind of craziness. Or nonstop. Jonathan Majors getting two-pieced by the broad, and then he still ends up going to jail for all kind of nonsense. Just a never-ending stream of BS consistently. And praise God, I'm so glad for what God is doing in LeBron James' life. LeBron Ramon James. I'm glad about it. LeBron has had the blessing, the fortune to sit back watch all these dudes around him in those athletic circles and celebrity circles catching bullets, catching arrows, catching nuclear warheads, catching shanks, arrows, any weapon you can name. And brother just right there, casually sipping his drink like, damn, that looks rough. Baby, I was ready for date night. All right, hon, I see. Just casually, unaffected. Brothers, it cannot be overstated ever. The woman you choose can either elevate you to greatness or put a collar around your neck and choke slam you straight to the fucking depths of hell.
Mm-hmm.
There's really very little in between with it. She'll either take you to the next level or she will slam you to the bottom and pin you there.
Yeah.
Every interaction needs to matter. I'm not even talking about for marriage. I'm not talking about the woman that you're married. I'm talking about the woman you just sit there and exchange more than 5 minutes of your time with.
Mm.
You may not ever reach the levels of a LeBron James, either in terms of notoriety, resources, athletic ability, whatever the case may be. But even in your regular everyday life, you're a regular average Joe. But there is still a level and quality of life that you can have that a woman can directly enhance or diminish.
Mm.
You need to make sure that if you are investing your resources, and time is included because time is the most valuable resource, a woman who's getting your time, your energy, your attention, you need to make sure that if you are investing anything into a woman, that you know who the woman is, and then you can guarantee that you are getting a return on your investment. Stop feeding the birds. We are not in Central Park. It's not a Sunday afternoon. You don't have time to kill. You do not have bird seed to be thrown. Stop feeding the birds. Let them pigeons go and fight that out in the rafters somewhere.
Yeah.
All right? Do it for yourself, because you see what happens if you, like the saying goes, idle hands are the devil's workshop. You sit right there and you let someone that has no business being in your presence for longer than 5 minutes, you sit there and let her sit there long enough. Eventually, you're going to find something that you like about her. Might be something silly or stupid, but the longer you spend, because time breeds familiarity, familiarity breeds affinity. So the longer they're staying and they don't qualify to be there, you're going to find a justification to keep her there. And then you do that, it's going to lead to something else. Before long, you make a decision you probably shouldn't have made and you wouldn't have made within the first 5 minutes. The next thing you know, yeah, it's on the news.
Mm-hmm.
How do you avoid these circumstances?
Man.
If your gut is tingling, if your spidey sense is kicking in, hey, bro, I don't know about this one now. I don't know. Cool it. Or if you know good and damn well off site that this person isn't fit to be in the vicinity of your shadow,
Yeah.
send her on her way, or you get gone if she ain't willing to leave. But stop entertaining people that are fit to be to your detriment. LeBron made a wise pimp move. He found a good woman. Major spoke in the past by talking to his homeboys about it. He had a good woman. Didn't need to convince him. He didn't do it right away, but once it was, you know what, this is her, this is it, locked it down.
Pull the trigger.
Seal the deal, put a ring on it. Bam. And he's reaping the benefits of it.
And let me tell you. Okay, go ahead.
And quick side note to the ladies, understand something. We're not going to get into the whole boss fish and everything else, but we're talking right now. If you have a brother that is doing his thing, he's ambitious, he's upwardly mobile, he's making a name for himself, he's advancing, he's doing his thing. Whether you have something going on for yourself at that level or not, whether what you have going on is above what he's got going on or not, understand something. You are a couple, you are a team. Protect the brand. You don't benefit, you don't advance, you don't accelerate when the name is tainted. There's certain people right now, and I've spoken to brothers before who are in corporate circles, and they'll talk about how your wife, your woman, at certain levels, they are a huge contributor to power moves. Whether they take the kids to the soccer practice, or basketball practice, whatever, and they're right there talking to other wives, other girlfriends, mainly the wives. They cutting deals. Oh, what's your husband do? My husband's in finance. My husband is too. Is he a banker? Ah, my husband's in real estate. I think my husband would like to talk to you. And they go ahead and they cut deals better. And hey, honey, how's your day? Good. I met someone at Bobby's basketball practice. Oh, yeah? Ann, her husband's in finance at Goldman Sachs. Really? I mentioned you have that big project that's up for review and you're looking for some additional finance. And she said that you guys might be interested. And this kind of thing happens all the time. Protect the brand. Keep your name clean in the streets for yourself, first and foremost. You should want to have your name tied up in mess. That's first and foremost. Then secondarily, protect the brand for the family's sake. Whatever moves you have to make, you make them swiftly and definitively. But there shouldn't be any nonsense. There shouldn't be any Aisha Curryism going on. There shouldn't be any Sierraism going on. There shouldn't be any Tia Mowryism going on.
Mm-hmm.
There shouldn't be any Jeannie Mayism going on. That does not advance the brand. That hurts the brand.
Real talk.
You're talking about being an asset to you talk about what you bring to the table, or I'm a good look from. Are you a good look? Are you really? I don't like making celebrities into fixtures. That's usually dangerous. I have bad experience with that. But so far, I got to give props to the track record. If any woman is looking for someone to go ahead and have at that level, it ain't a Meg Thee Stallion. It's a Savannah James. Look to that as an example. Ask yourself, what would Savannah do? Now, what would Nicki Minaj do? What would Savannah James do?
Yeah.
Go in that direction. So far, it's proven to be a safe direction. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Well said. And I just want to add in there, you spoke about, weeding out the derelicts, if you will. I did not find my wife until I got rid of all the trash. That's when I found them. Real talk. If you have all these lesser thans occupying all your time, you're just not going to be you're not going to have the time, and you're not going to even recognize her when she comes, because your headspace is full of this filth that you're wasting your time with. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. And it's actually, like you guys said, it's a great investment for young men to go ahead and, lock it down. It's a great investment. And I'm going to show you why it's a great investment. Check out this young man, right? So he's in the marriage club group, and he wants to brag on his wife. So he says, my wife started law school today, right? And then his wife found the post, and she reposted it and said, thank you, my love. You helped make this happen. And I love you so much for it.
Dope.
Right? So you have a man who invested in his woman, or gave her the space for her to excel in the direction that she wanted to excel in as far as her career, supported her in the process. Now that she achieved it, he ended up being the biggest cheerleader for his wife. And he's telling the whole world, my wife started law school today. He's bragging. Y'all think that a lot of times y'all be thinking that women are the ones that's supposed to be bragging about their men all the time. No, men like to brag about their women. Trust. You want a woman on our side that we could brag about.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody loves bragging rights, men or women. You love bragging rights. You want the world to see how lucky you are in one breath, and in that same breath to say, look what can happen when you protect your legacy because that's what the men have. You have your legacy. When you protect your legacy, look what happens. It strengthens your legacy. Your mate strengthens your legacy.
Real talk.
So it's very important for you to have a strong woman. When we talk about strong women, this is the strong woman we talk about, not the one that run around in social media and tell everybody they strong because they out here trying to do all the everything by themselves and on the feminist ideology to make themselves strong, and then go in later on down the road talk about it's too much for them and they want to be in a soft girl era. That's not a strong woman. A strong woman is a Savannah. A strong woman is this woman who sat back and created this uh, phenomenal energy of divine femininity that attracted her husband, and he saw it and he protects it and flourished that femininity. Now you have, quote unquote, they become a power couple. That's how you get power couples. When you sit back and have a phenomenal mate and you're a phenomenal mate yourself, and you guys are flourishing within the energy, the masculine energy and the divine femininity, that balance now interlocks with each other and creates this forceful energy out to the world.
Real talk.
That's what power couple is really about. And we need to get more on that, align up with who is going to benefit you and just have a wonderful life with in the long run. It's not easy. It ain't easy. You guys are gonna have bad days. But guess what? If you have way more good days than bad days, that's a successful relationship. No relationship is perfect. Trust, but trust me. When you can go out here and brag about your wife, and you can go out here and brag about your husband, man, it's a great feeling.
Yes.
So always remember that. All right. I do want to talk about, I know Bobby kind of hit on it a little earlier, that we have women out here that they look good, everything is fine, but yet they can't seem to find a man. So I saw a meme earlier and it says, she was beautiful, she seemed cool, and she had no kids. So why were you turned off? And we see a lot of beautiful women that are in situations like that, or men walk away from, have issues with, and don't want to, lock them down. And then you had another woman who actually went viral. She said, woman is trying to figure out why it's so hard for her to find a man. Says he can make 50K a year and drive a Honda. Right. So let's
I just want a man that makes at least $50,000 a year, drives Toyota or Honda is fine, dates maybe once a month. It's all I want. Movies.
So she said just a date once a month. That's all she want. Make $50,000, and just the bare minimum, right? She's just asking for pretty much just the bare minimum, nothing lavish. She didn't say six-figure man and you got to have this and you got to drive this. She's like, man, I'm looking for a guy. Just let's go out somewhere once a month, and you ain't got to drive nothing lavish. And she looks like a pretty good-looking woman, but a lot of times people don't understand that it's more than what they're presenting. Maybe there's something that you're doing, the way you act, the way you move, the way you project yourself. Because she looked like she dressed a little, on that side. So maybe that might be a little bit much for a guy, or something like that. But you got to understand that sometimes, yes, you can have everything that look like it line up, but when it comes to attracting that mate, there's something there that just not clicking. And a lot of times, we have these women that glorify singlehood so much, but the problem with being single and glorifying singlehood so much is that you become programmed into that singlehood mentality. And when you're programmed like that, a lot of times when you enter in the dating world, you kind of are off balance because now you're programmed so much in you have to be in your masculine ways, where you're always taking control. You're always talking, talking about trying to be the leader in a conversation. You're always doing that because you were normally programmed into that mentality. And a lot of times when it comes to interacting back with men, they see that and they're like, nah, you look a little bit more confrontational. I gotta bump heads with you. It's the same saying that they say, I'm sword fighting with you. And nobody wants to sword fight with their mate. So sometimes women, you can look good on paper, everything like that, and still have a lot of issues that you don't see for yourself subconsciously, but the outside, you see exactly what the issue is, and you need friends around you that can put you in situations and tell you that you're wrong, and a lot of times we talk about these women out here. A lot of these women will talk about men out here that's on podcasts and talking about how a lot of these men don't need to say anything. Take the mic away from them. We don't need these men out here talking. But yet we have a lot of women out here that are projecting bullshit ideology, bullshit thoughts, and wondering why they're getting the same results. Don't be this woman, right? Don't be this woman who is YNW, Melly's mom, revealed she made $40,000 on her first day on OnlyFans, right? Don't be that woman because you're too much listening
Toxic,
to
a
these
guy in
type of
prison
women.
or a guy in the army?
Let's see if this answer contains any common sense.
Oh, a guy in the army.
Guy in the
100%.
army. For sure.
Nope. Guess not.
Because in prison, at least they find like religion.
Find relationships and they get married in prison.
What?
So it depends on the branch, though. What branch is it?
Who wants to tell them?
Yeah, Army's definitely very
I'd rather
toxic.
have a prison man.
What? Why?
I would rather a man in prison too.
Yeah.
Or recently out.
Is there? I think maybe Navy. I think a Navy man.
Or Air Force.
Nope, dated one of those. They cheated on me.
Yeah, they seem like they have too much access to air.
Too much access to air. Well, that's new. Meanwhile, I'm starting to wonder if everyone involved in that conversation genuinely had enough access to air.
So, a lot of y'all women are getting horrible fucking advice. And a lot of people are seeing it. And it's running you guys down the wrong way. Don't be that woman. Don't be that woman where you're in your late age embarrassing your son that's out here building a name and a legacy for himself. And you're out here at an older age because you didn't structure yourself in the right direction. And now everybody and their mama is out here, your son's friends, your son's teachers, your brother, his uncles, all of this are embarrassed. And they also, if they're not family related, they're seeing the inside of their mother's vagina all around social media. That's a bad look. Don't be that woman. And I'll land my plane on that.
Wow. Bruh, this race to the bottom is serious, man. It never ceases to amaze me how these things always get progressively worse. It just does not amaze me anymore. But let me go back. You gave us a lot at once there. I had to write this stuff down, man. Damn. Okay, so as far as the man bragging about his wife, I brag about mine all the time. I think that's dope. I see this a lot. And I just want to point out that, that dispels this myth that somehow when you're a woman, who has accolades and you have things going for you and you're doing well and you're a high status woman, that somehow men are intimidated by you. No, that's usually not the case. It is possible, but usually, you know, that's a projection. That's something that women a lot of times just kind of make up. They assume that the men are intimidated by them, and they don't understand that a lot of times the success that they have, in many cases, very little, goes to their head and causes them to be this insufferable ass. They don't get that. They have something I call narcissistic asshole complex, where they just kind of, you know, I mean, they're just so self-absorbed that you can barely stand to stay in the same room with them. You understand what I'm saying? I can feel that on people at hello, literally.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of times, no, ladies, as it showed you in the meme, and I can vouch for brothers that I know who do the same thing, that post and brag about their wives and brag to their friends, whatever the case may be. I do it all the time. It's a thing. Men are not necessarily intimidated by you just because you got a little status. That's a lie. The other lady talking about a woman, she wants a man who makes at least $50,000 a year and drives at least a Honda. I can tell you right now, I can give you a pretty good idea right now of why she can't catch. Because she's not a bad looking lady. Like you said, she dresses kind of skanky. She gives off that vibe, like we talked about Savannah earlier. Like, she gives off that vibe that, she might have a problem, trying to get attention just generally and, embarrass her dude. She kind of comes off that way. And the fact that the only thing she talked about was money and money related things when she started talking about the type of man she desired. She didn't say anything about this guy's character. She didn't say anything about how she wants this guy to treat her. She didn't say anything about the people qualities that she looks for in a man. Nothing whatsoever. She just immediately went to, oh, he has to make at least this much money and he has to drive at least this good of a car.
And take her out at least once a month.
Yeah, real talk. And take her out at least once a month. While those things may not be a lot in the grand scheme of things or the way that we look at things, that's still your point of focus. That's still your focal point. You haven't talked about anything real, really. And that says that you're probably not a very real person. And so anybody real, which is what it sounds like you're trying to attract, you're not going to attract them because you ain't got the chops. YN Melly's mom and her 40K on her first week of OnlyFans. The fact that we have a grown-up female of any race, in the United States in 2023 bragging about this, a grandmother, is sad and despicable. Real talk. She should be ashamed of herself. But this goes back to that point I was making earlier about, people who, immediately start talking about how much money a person has when you criticize them. That means they'll sell their soul. That's exactly what this woman is doing. This woman is selling her soul. Your grandkids don't need to see that. You don't need to be embarrassing your son like that. But she doesn't even have enough respect for herself to know that she shouldn't be putting herself out there like that. You understand? And that's why it's good that we're starting the new year with this call out culture, because people like that need to be called out. And shame on you simps that are spending so much money on somebody's grandmother blowing up their OnlyFans account. A lot of little dusty niggas out here that are incels with no game, that, at the end of the day, you're just little perverts. And you really need to go sit down somewhere, because if that's the best you can do, that explains your baby mama. Next topic, real quick, and I'll shut down. The clip with the women talking about the different types of men and why they can't get them, and the guy who who was in the military, the Air Force, cheating on her because he had too much air, and then the guy in jail and this and that, or whatever the case may be, man. I try to let everybody live. I try to leave people with their legs. But unfortunately, if I'm being real, some of the worst advice that's being given out here is coming from these female so-called relationship coaches, giving other women advice about how to move with men. Women, generally speaking, I've always said you should really get your advice from men when it comes to on how you move in dating and relationships. You should really get your advice from men, and men that are not trying to bang you. Just men that have, there's no conflict of interest. They're just like your big brothers, your uncles, whatever the case may be. You should get your advice from men, because women are many women, I shouldn't say all women, but many women are profoundly ignorant when it comes to speaking on what it is that men want and how women should interact with us. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That's just the long and short of it. You understand? They have no idea. And we've seen this locally with some of the women that we know, just talking stupid and co-signing birds. And you like, this is a smart girl. Why is she talking so dumb? Because unfortunately, for so long, it's been okay for them to just go out here and just blabber utter nonsense. No one challenges them. You understand? Now that we have the gender wars and men are pushing back against the stupid shit they're saying, why y'all always so mad? It's not that we're always mad. You don't know what you're talking about. And that was a prime example of a bunch of women that just don't know what they're talking about. They don't. They have no idea, and they're trying to lead other women that don't have any answers either. We need to come together, and just let me land with this last point. I don't want to go too long, but this last point is very important. A lot of women are cool with this notion that, I don't care what men think. I don't care what men think. Instead of listening to men and trying to understand why it is that we don't like what we like, the natural thing for them to say is, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. And then you get to the point after 30 or 40 years of saying that, and a bunch of morons behind you echoing the same sentiment, you actually really don't care. How is it that you expect to get along with an entire gender of people who you're looking to for leadership and provision, by the way, and you don't care what they think? Where they do that at? How's that going to work?
True.
I'm just saying, ladies, you need to tighten up with your bullshit. You need to care about what people think. You don't hear men, for the most part, running around talking about how they don't care about what women think. Of course we care about what women think. How are we going to get along with them if we don't care about what they think?
Yeah.
Let's use a little common sense. That's all I'm saying.
Definitely.
I'll land my plane. God damn.
So I'm going to attack both of those in the same breath. That whole assortment from Debo's pigeon coop and the chick who's talking before, I refuse to give them their own little space and section of time. No, they're going to have to co-op with somebody else. I'm not going to acknowledge that. That's ridiculous. As far as she's concerned, she's talking that way now about how, she just wants a man who makes at least $50K, drives at least a Honda or Toyota, date once a month at least, bare minimum. And I look at her, I'm listening to her, and I also picked up what you picked up, Major, very insightful. The fact that everything she's speaking is 100% materialistic, nothing about the quality of the man, nothing about his attributes, nothing else, just basically do things for me. One-sided relationship. I heard that. But I'm looking at her. This is not a 20-year-old woman. She looks very good. She's very attractive. She should not be, at least based off of looks and aesthetics, from the looks of it, she should not be doing poorly in the dating market at all. She should be up there with the top killers. I'm wondering now, and I can't help wonder, the way she's speaking gives off desperation, kind of a wit's end. I'm wondering now, at her age, how many men who make 50K who'd be willing to take her out at least once a month, who drive basically an economy car, Toyota Honda. That's what we're talking about. Economy cars. Drives one of those. How many of those men who were willing to do those things for her did she pass up before she got to this point? How many times did you have to slam and whack and connect your skull to the wall before you had this epiphany, like, you know what? Maybe this isn't too bad. Maybe this is bearable. I can live with this.
Right.
Because I can assure you, when women talk about there are no good men, I can't find any good men, especially once they reach a certain age, I will call bullshit with all the strength I have in my veins because I know damn well. I'm not going to say at least one. I know there were at least 4 or 5 dudes who fit what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
I were ready, willing, and available back then that you overlooked because you didn't want to settle. You didn't want to lower your standards. You knew your worth. That was you were too good for that.
Real talk. Boy.
The problem is a lot of women, and this goes into talking about the accolades and everything else.
Yeah.
There's a gross lack of self-awareness that exists. When men go around, especially once they make a certain amount of their CEO or their hedge fund manager, they have some prestigious title or whatever. When men go around, or even not even at that level, when regular dudes go and they get their cars all fixed, they got their donks, they got the cars with the big rims. That's not really a thing as much nowadays, but they got their expensive cars, flashy cars, and they're driving out, flexing, trying to get you to see them. They got their wrists all iced up. They got a gigantic neck piece that they're probably straining their back to hold up, and doing all this stuff trying to get attention. Women will point that out, and the ones who are just trying to use the money will go ahead and give him play. But the ones who are disgusted and turned off will look at him and say, he is just simply trying to lead with his money. He's trying to buy attention from women. He has no identity. Who are you without all that money, without all that jewelry, without the cars? Who are you without all this?
Right.
Yeah.
Women will have no issues with spotting that. And they're correct. That's exactly what he's doing. He doesn't everything else going for himself. What you're looking at is the best he has to offer. That's what he's trying to lead out there with. You should choose me because I got all this going on.
Right.
Women will see that and will accurately identify and acknowledge that. Wait for it. Here's the kicker.
I know. I know where you're going. We're roller
skates with jet-powered roller skates on. They'll see that, but won't make the same connection with women who try to lead with their degrees, women who try to lead with their careers
or their bodies.
I have 2 master's degrees. I have a PhD. I'm an entrepreneur. I own 3 or 4 businesses. I made 180K last year. It was a slow year for me. I'm looking for a man that can keep up. I don't date men who are on my level. They're intimidated by me. No. The same way how you all are turned off by the men that's just flexing and flaunting their wealth or the money they're presenting themselves to have. That's how men feel about it when that's the first thing you do. There's nothing wrong with being a high achieving woman. Right now, I take my hat off to any sister out here that's earning big paper, that's making a name for herself, that's trailblazing and a pioneer in her profession or her passion. She's doing big things. She's knocking down doors. She's cutting glass ceilings. Big up to that. It's hard out here for men or for women. So for a woman to do it, big kudos to that. Nothing wrong with that. Go ahead, do the damn thing. I'm supporting you. The issue comes in when this becomes your identity.
Yay.
I know you sunk yourself in the debt. You killed your pockets. You're gonna be paying off that paper for about another decade or 2. I understand that. But that paper that you labored so hard for shouldn't become your identity.
Real talk.
Mm-hmm.
The career you have that if you drop down dead today, they'll maybe boo-hoo for you tomorrow, but by next week, Monday, they already have the position filled. That shouldn't be your identity.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of money that you make, how many careers you have, how many businesses you started that you run successfully. That shouldn't be your identity. Who are you without those things?
Mm-hmm.
If you lost those things tomorrow, who would you be?
There you go.
It's not attractive. Don't
Mm-hmm.
know dude who is not a user and an abuser. Not one of them wants to date a woman who is Mrs. PhD,
Mm.
who is Mrs. Entrepreneur of the Year, who is Mrs. CEO, or who's Mrs. Upper Level Management. Don't know dude want to deal with and get to know that.
Right.
They want to deal with and meet you, who you are, as a woman, as a person. And if you can't put all that shit to the side, if you can't separate who you are professionally from who you are personally, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Real talk.
It's not that they're intimidated. It's just that they have the good sense to spot a headache and say, you know what? I don't need to create a whole budget for Advil and Tylenol. You really don't need to do it. That's called wisdom.
Mm.
Yeah.
So make that adjustment. It's not about intimidation. That's something that you tell yourself so you can feel better about yourself, because you don't want to confront the fact that you have horribly associated your identity with something else.
Mm.
You talk about going on journeys of self-love. Women are talking about, I'm learning to love me and put myself first. If you're serious about that, in that journey, strip away all the accolades and find out who you are without them. Learn to love that. That's the woman you need to brag on. Everything else that you've done is meaningless in comparison. Find that woman who you are without these things. Learn to love her. And I can guarantee you that the men who you encounter, they're going to love her too.
Woo! Bobby Drake for the win.
Put the boss bitch in the cupboard and lock that.
Yes. Yes. Check it. And can I add something to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can we throw in some real hair, real eye color, less makeup? Because I'm gonna tell you,
less filters.
This everything that you're saying, Bob, ties into my point that I was just making, man.
Yeah.
Everything you say ties back to that. Like, yo, like you said, these women.
How can you expect a man to love you when you show in multiple ways you don't actually love you?
You don't love you. And a man's supposed to love you. Are you kidding me?
You know you better than only God knows you better than you. Not even your mother and father know you that well, because they might be with you for 23 hours out the day, but you're with yourself for 24 hours a day. You know you better than anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you can't appreciate your own hair, your own face, your own body, your own person, your own personality, if you can't appreciate you, how can you expect someone who hasn't spent nearly enough time with you to be able to do that? That is hella unfair. That's an insurmountable task right there.
It's crazy.
Come on.
And we were just having this discussion in a group the other day, and a sister actually brought this up. And the brothers was like, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Women still don't get that there's hoe attention and there's wifey attention. They might give the hoe attention, plenty of it, to the girl who looks and carries herself like a hoe. But if you want to be a wife, I was talking to a sister earlier today about that. Another sister, Sister Amy, told Sister they were having an exchange, but she said to Sister Nima, hey, this woman's not carrying herself like a wife. It was one of the posts that I made. You know what I'm saying? And she broke it down how she wasn't carrying herself like a wife, and she was spot on.
Yeah.
Just because you get attention don't mean it's the right attention, ladies. And you can say that men need to be better all you like, and that may be true. But when you walk into a situation that's not good for you with your eyes wide shut like a moron, you're going to be the victim. There's a saying that the old timers have. Women keep kids. I'm going to say that again. Women keep kids. Meaning, yeah, you know, you got your kids, whatever the case may be, this, that, and the third. The guy might have them on the weekend, but it is agreed upon in most circles that the best place for a child to be is with their mother. Most kids spend most time with their mother. You understand what I'm saying? So, ladies, unfortunately, you know, you have a lot of men out here that are starting to be like, hey, we not with the single mother shit. Not saying that's right or wrong, good or bad. I'm saying that's what the men are saying. So, ladies, you know, you keep putting yourselves in these predicaments where what you want is unattainable because of what you have made yourself. And you're not seeing that that's the reason why it's unattainable. For whatever reason. Jason Black, our brother Jason Black, God bless him, makes a good point all the time. Ladies, when we come and we holler at you and we get with you, all we get is you. We don't inherit your wealth. We don't inherit your socioeconomic status. We don't inherit your education. We don't inherit your assets. All we get is you. So you need to be on point. Not to say that men don't need to be on point, but you really need to be on point if you're trying to get chose up on out here. Period. I'm just saying.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah. All right. What you got? All right.
All right.
Yes.
So I want to you know, it's our first night back. We don't want to be on here too late. You know, we appreciate everybody on here, but we want to definitely acknowledge. I want to show some acknowledgement of women that have been out here, you know, pointing out a lot of the good things that men do, debunking the bullshit, the gender warring.
Yeah.
They've been debunking it. So I want to go through a list of things that they've been doing to debunk it. And we'll start off with this right here, which is the killers in New Orleans are so nice and well mannered. Right? This was a thread, and I was shocked. It opened my eyes up, right? And I'm gonna show you why it opened my eyes up. So the next one is, so now they made a whole thread. And mind you, let me go back real quick. You see where that says 5.1 million views? So these women were going in, right? So I'm gonna show you, right? One girl says, the guy said to her, say love, could you move out the way right quick? And then the other person said, next thing you know, the site is aired out. So as much as they do criminal activities, they still have it in their mind to make sure that the women in that area is safe. So when you hear women out here talking about black men don't protect black women and all that other bull, it's nonsense. And this goes to what Major was saying, that we need more men to step up and say things, and we need more women to step up and say things and correct the bullshit narrative that's going out there. Another woman said, nah, the time I was living in Noya, some guy told my friend to get out her car so he could steal it. But he asked her if she needed anything out the car first. She said, my purse. So he politely handed it to her. Insane, right? Man, still had compassion for her, regardless of the bullshit he was doing, right? Still had compassion for her. Because if it was a guy, he wouldn't have said that. Hilarious. Right?
No,
another girl said, I pulled up to the store and some young boys say, love, this ain't the store you want to be at right now. As I got back in my car, they said, stay beautiful, as a fight broke out in the background. Interesting interaction.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Next one says, he said, yes, bro. Excuse me, love. Watch out real quick. then blow. Then I guess he must have swung and hit somebody real quick. You know what I'm saying? Blow that shit up. That's what she said. Right? Another one said, I ain't lying. One dude asked me, was I okay mid shootout? Like, well, how nice of you to check, sir.
Wow.
That you said, please say psych. I wish I could.
You know what I'm saying? So the next one, I remember this boy at the gas station told me and my friend, say, sweetie, it's about to get real busy around here. Y'all can get y'all pretty asses back in your car.
Wow.
One girl said it sounds like a damn love story. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to highlight that because it, you know, as much as the dusty behavior that they're doing, it still shows you that they still have a conscious mind level to make sure that the women around them is safe or don't get involved or caught up in their bullshit. You know what I mean? Man steals her car, but he says, hey, babe, what you need out of here? Because I just want your car. She said, just give me my purse. He says, okay, cool. Have that, and takes off with the car. He still had enough compassion to say, you know what? I'm not going to take, I don't want her license. I don't want anything else that will mess her whole life up. I just need this car. Probably go swerving in it or probably chop it up. You know, you could get your car back, you know, whatever. It might hold you a setback, but at least I have a little compassion about it when it comes to this woman. Because like I said, these guys would not have the same type of compassion for another man. So like I say, when it comes down to women, this is just debunking that black men don't look out for black women and all this other bullshit. You know, in the middle of a gunfight, this man could get sniped in the back of his head just by turning and looking at a woman and not paying attention, just to make sure he's like, yo, you good? I'm just checking on you. You know what I'm saying? And go back into the gunfight. So just to show you that. Another one that I wanted to show you guys was a bunch of women made a thread about, you know, a lot of women are out here talking bad about men and how horrible the dating pool is. And then, you know, the women got together and said, no, there's good men out here. And so this one, it says, we had enough stories of women dealing with the bottom tier men. Let's hear princess treatment stories only. I could tweet forever about him. I could stay single the rest of my life and live off the love we shared and the memories we had and be happy. I can die and know that there was one person that really loved me and got to experience real love. He set the standard. All right. Another woman said, he knows all my medications by heart, monitors when they are about to be finished, accompanies me for my appointments, leaves everything to come take care of me, even if it's just a headache, wants to join me on a plant-based diet because it will help reduce my lupus symptoms. All right. Next woman says, my husband makes me breakfast in bed every Saturday morning, along with a handwritten note and sunflowers. We've been married for almost 6 years, and he never missed a Saturday.
I would expect nothing less from a woman repping Ari Lennox like that. Shout out my wife, Ari.
I introduced me to the field I'm in, paid for my $30,000 closing costs and down payment on my house, partnered his business with mine so we can go after contracts together. Put $5K down on my first Benz, bought me my dream bag, Birkin, and took care of me hand and foot when I was sick for 2 months. 2 years in, my vases have never been empty. He once left work just to bring me a smoothie because I told him the one that I made tastes bad. He tracks my cycle so he can bring me my usual cravings. He learned how to remove my makeup and wrap my hair for when I'm too turned. One time in my deepest
There's another reason he tracks your cycle too. I'm gonna leave that alone.
Jesus.
One time in my deepest depression of my life, my husband gave me a bath. He washed my hair, dried me off, got me dressed in comfy jammies, put me in bed with my heating pad, then rub my back and watch my favorite shows with me. He's an angel, a literal angel. And last but not least, his daily reassurance. He shows up every time I need him. I'm physically and emotionally held when I'm falling apart. He looks at me in a way that makes me feel like the most beautiful person he's ever seen. I don't doubt that he wants me to be here. He's really good to me. And that's all I have for black men out here doing great work. And even despite all the negativity that we hear constantly day in, day out. And I just wanted to show that there are women out here to show the positive light of the men that are out here.
I'm laughing at her name, Kitty Jakes. That's hilarious. But yeah, no, that's it's really good to see. And the funny thing is, I've seen a number of these posts recently. It's not a new post, but I've seen this whole, can we, men and women, can we stop beefing with each other and start acting like we love each other, like we need each other? And I've been seeing that sentiment pop up, and I've spoken before about that in other places, about how that can really be a dismissive statement or sentiment. It's beautiful. I'm sure it comes from a good place, but the reality is it can be dismissive. Yeah. However, we don't understand that part of the issue, small part, but part of it nevertheless, is that there's a lack of reciprocity. It's like we want people to take the fire hose off of us, but we have no intention of removing our fire hose. So we just don't want to get fired on. We just want to be the one that's doing the firing. That can't work. My grandfather used to say that even a dog needs to feel appreciated. You don't correct behavior well by just punishment. What you have to do is you have to teach. You have to give positive reinforcement as well too. So we call out the dummies. We call out the dusty and the bummy people. We do that, but we also make it a point to highlight and showcase those who are on the right track, those who we respect, those who are doing it right, and we're acknowledging that. So we're not just telling you what to not do. We're also steering the direction of where we think you should be going as well too, and that's important. You're not going to get the best out of anybody if you're constantly shanking and beating down. You need to show that there's some light at the end of the tunnel. A lot of men, specifically, we're talking about men right now, but a lot of men, they don't really know what it is to receive warmth or positivity from women. At least women that aren't family. I spoke before, and I mentioned there's a lot of men right now. Women, one of the criticisms that they have, and it's not unfounded, is that a lot of men are only interested in sex. And they'll talk about, he's only interested in sex with me. He doesn't want to cuddle. He doesn't want to, confide in me, whatever. That's the only time that we're ever intimate is when we're having sex. A lot of men don't know any intimacy outside of sex. For a lot of men, the only time they get to experience intimacy with a woman who's not family is through sex. They're not showing any sort of compassion. They're not given that space where they can be. I'm not talking about venting and sharing what's on their chest. But I'm talking about just those tender moments. Yeah. There was a thread that was shared. There was a post that was shared by Dr. Tiasan Johnson. Shout out to good Dr. Johnson. Does fantastic work in the realm of Black male studies. And he shared a post about, I can't remember what exactly it was, but basically he should know. It was someone who would say that one time his girlfriend, out the blue, just kissed him on his forehead. He wasn't having a bad day. He wasn't trying to get him to go sleep, but she just kissed him on his forehead out of the blue. And he said, and it bothered him for a few hours. He couldn't figure out what it was that was throwing him off. He realized that was the sweetest thing a woman's ever done for him. He never had a woman show that kind of warmth and compassion. Now that she was trying to get him to go to sleep, now that he was sick, whatever, but give him a kiss on the forehead, an intimate kiss, just because, for the hell of it. So he never had that experience before. And Dr. Johnson shared that, he had that same experience when it happened. And he's like, and this is a brother who's in his mid 40s. He said, it threw me off when it happened because I've never experienced that before. And he said, and to this day, I've never experienced that since. And a lot of brothers would chime in and show you that, yeah, I've never had those kind of experiences before.
It's real.
You talk about what you don't like, but are you putting more of what you like to see into the world? If the world is ugly and nasty and bitter and hideous and cold, are you putting beauty in the world? Are you putting warmth? Are you putting love in the world? Are you putting kindness in the world? Are you being and doing for others what you want to see being done yourself? Or you're just sitting back on the sidelines. You got the mission right in your lap, and you're saying, "Yeah, someone should really do this." Mother, Father, it's in your lap. Why do you think it's there? If others don't know, show them the path.
It is.
But we have to get better at it. So salute those sisters for taking the initiative to go ahead and voluntarily acknowledge that that there's BS being proliferated, cutting it off and saying we're going to switch the dynamic. We're going to brag on our men. We're going to brag about the love that we've received, the good things that men have done for us. We're not going to wallow in this bitter bouillon.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and we're going to show that there is positivity out there. It's not all bashment. No, there's good things out here. We want to celebrate that. We want to give that its day. We need to see more of that in 2024. I hope we see more of that in 2024 for men and the women.
Yes.
Agreed.
You
the last thing that you spoke on, when you were talking about you're talking about the woman who was talking about how men wouldn't come and approach her or whatever the case may be. I just wanted to add to that. Women have demonized men being men so much that a lot of times men are afraid to be men. You understand what I'm saying? Just doing something, going and approaching a woman and, hollering at her, macking to her, whatever the case may be. A lot of times when you do that now, women try to find ways to embarrass you. Women try to, they call you a creep, whatever the case may be. He's just trying to pick women up, whatever. It's looked down upon by a lot of women, and then you get in a situation where, you're complaining because no men.
Oh, looks like you too real for him, Major. They snatched you. But I think he's saying, what he's basically saying, I think you put yourself in a position where you have pretty much backed your own self into a corner. It's like if you're painting a room, right? You're trying to paint the floor, you're trying to do the tile on the floor, and you get to work and you're so busy doing the tile or painting the floor, and you got one last spot, and you look at me and realize, damn it, I done painted myself into the opposite side of the room. There's no way for me to get out.
Yeah.
So I either got to sit here and I got to wait for this thing to dry or whatever so I can get out, or I got to exit, but now I got to do this all over again. I just made a mess now. You got to be mindful of the reality that you create. When you talk about words, and really, because that's all it is, words, but words can create.
Correct.
You keep on telling people and teaching people how to treat you, how to not treat you. And when they honor your request, you can't get mad that they listen to you. You got no one to blame but yourself. So you got to take ownership of that. You have to be mindful and intentional about what it is you're actually looking for. The whole one-sidedness, well, this is fine if he's attractive, but it's not fine if he's unattractive or whatever. That can't work. And no one's trying to go and venture to test and see if it's going to be, if they can get away with it or if it's their turn in the sun. No. So, got to keep that in mind.
Definitely got to keep it in mind. I guess I'm waiting for
I think
Major to
Major's
come
still out of
back.
commission.
Yeah, he's still out of commission. I guess he's still figuring it out. But let's go to the crown check real quick. Definitely want to hit the crown check.
There we go.
And tonight's crown,
You know that's the only thing I come here for.
yeah, tonight's crown check is definitely a local hero. And I definitely want to highlight this young lady. I've seen her on my Facebook friends page, and he acknowledged her, and I just wanted to acknowledge her tonight, which is Yvonne Lee Odom. She made
Yeah.
history when transferring from Delray Carver Rancher to Seacrest in 1962, making her the first Black person, man or woman, to integrate the public school system in Delray Beach. She also is the grandmother of the tennis superstar Coco Graf. It was an honor interviewing her in Delray Beach Historical Society in 1950s to 1960s exhibit taking place in March. So I definitely wanted to shout her out. She is 70, she'll be 78 years old. She was born in 1946. She's actually been married to her husband for 60 plus years, right? And here's the great part about that. Here's the great part about her being married for 60 plus years. She's been married to a guy by the name of Mr. Odom. And Mr. Odom is a historical man himself, right? He was on the football team. He was a football player on the football team, but he also had access to the tennis athletic department during that time. So because he had access to the tennis athletic department, he was gaining a lot of knowledge through the tennis department and everything about tennis in itself. He's also the man that orchestrated and helped Serena and Venus Williams during that time that they came down here to practice tennis. They were under his expertise. He also gave them, access to the tennis courts and also, teaching them about tennis. In return, his granddaughter, Coco Gauff, as you guys remember, she just won this cup recently. And he gave her all the information that she needed to win a cup at such a young age. I think she was, Coco is like 19, I think, right?
Yeah, 19.
Yeah, and that is phenomenal. So, that's deep-rooted history we have here in South Florida in our backyard. And I was on the phone with Emmanuel George, and he's the guy right there in the dreads interviewing her. And we was on the phone and he was telling me all this stuff, and I was like, yo, this is so dope, because I told him that I was gonna honor her tonight. So I had gave him a call to get some additional information, and that's when he gave me the information about her husband. And that's where you talk about power couples and how dominant it is for you to have the right mate, and you can move mountains when you're building a solid foundation like that, to where even your grandchildren are benefiting from that foundation in itself. So I definitely want to give props out to Emmanuel George as well. And you guys could follow him. That's on his Facebook page right there. And this is his Black Broward page. And you guys could follow him. That's Instagram and his Facebook page. All right. So that's tonight is our Queen check of the night. Definitely very powerful. And we definitely headed back to Major to say what he needed to say, because I know he got cut off. But definitely shout out to Queen Check for tonight. Such a phenomenal woman. So much deep, rich history. All right.
Yes, sir. That was dope. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with the internet today, but the Queen check was the crown check. It's really dope. It's always appreciated. And we love shouting out the sisters that are out here doing what sisters should be doing. much respect to that sister and all the other sisters that are out here handling business. I just want to talk really about the memes that you're putting up, where the sisters were sharing some very colorful experiences and just kind of pointing out how the brothers were still looking out for them in the midst of some crazy things going on. And,
it's not making Major be great tonight. It's not making Major be great tonight.
They killed my dog.
Yeah. Definitely not making Major be great tonight. Oh man.
The hate real.
Yeah, the hate is real.
Smear.
They said after Cat Williams, they ain't taking no chances.
Yeah. Is he gonna come back on? Yeah, he's back on. Let's get him.
God.
Yeah, I don't know. They're not making you great tonight, but
let me hurry up and do this. Damn.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, the sisters, a lot of times sisters, when they're throwing brothers under the bus, especially black women in particular, you tend to forget, some of us may not get along. Sometimes, the interaction may not be perfect, but we are the only group of people that consistently protects black women. Real talk. We are the protection mechanism of the black community. And a lot of times when you see sisters out here, unfortunate things happen to them. You're getting your ass beat in an Asian nail salon, all that type of stuff. Or like this sister who claims she got hit in the face with a brick and we found out it was a damn lie. There were a group of black men standing by and they just kind of said, we don't rock with her because she's always talking shit about black men. Come to find out she's a feminist and a misandrist and, she hates black men anyway. You have to be very mindful about the type of energy you put out there. This is going back to energy. You know what I'm saying? And sisters, we love you. We love you to life. We're going to hold you down. Just because we may criticize some of you.
Oh, man.
You said the C word. Yeah. That's what did it.
Oh, gosh. All right, we're gonna let me put this out here because I don't know if he's gonna come back. I definitely want to shout out to Rick. So as you guys know, Rick was supposed to be with us. He's out here doing his thing. They got a Black Excellent networking ball that's happening February 3rd. I definitely will be in the building at the Miramar Multiple Service Complex. That's 6700 Miramar Parkway, Miramar, Florida 33023. If you need any tickets, go to www.connectedbizsolutions.com. And you can always check back on the flyer and get that. I did want to give a shout out to this Bass Reeves Lawman is one of the phenomenal series that I've watched on TV. I know a lot of people wanted to see The Color Purple and got disappointed. Here's a very, very powerful show dating back to one of the most powerful Black people that we had during our historical times that a lot of Black people don't even know about, even your children. So check that out, Lawman, Bass Reeves on Paramount. And it's also a great, great love story and a foundation that they have that is so beautiful, and we need more of that. All right, so I definitely wanted to leave that with y'all. Let's get Major back in here, see if he can wrap it up in like 30 seconds. I guess that's all they're giving you.
This is where that rapid fire comes in.
No controversial language.
No controversial language. This is where that rapid fire training comes in. Look, at the end of the day, guys, just in case I get cut off again, know your worth. Real talk. There are people out here, that want to waste your time and have you involved in situations you shouldn't be involved in. You have to do the proper vetting to know the type of people to have around you. And, it's up to you to make sure that the people that you bring into your fold are the people that need to be in your fold so that you can work together with them and network properly and do great things in life. It's important, it's significant, and make sure that we're doing it. You know, that is how we build strong communities at the end of the day. Sisters, we love you. Like I was saying before, you know, yeah, sometimes we have to talk about some things. Sometimes it may get a little ugly, but at the end of the day, we're going to come together and we're going to understand who the real enemy is, and that is whoever is on the outside of the Black household trying to prevent that household from going forward. And that I'll land my plane there.
Well said. Well said.
Yes.
Bobby, you up? Close us out.
Look, man, know your worth. When it's all said and done, make sure that you're actually putting in the work to become worthy or to increase your worth. Sometimes knowing your worth, knowing your worth always means to be honest with yourself and to have self-integrity. The reality might be at this current moment in time, maybe you're not worth that much. Outside of your basic default value as a human being, maybe your worth might not be a whole lot. Maybe you're working with pocket lint and spare change under the couch. However, the good news is it doesn't have to remain that way.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you have breath in your lungs, there's opportunities for you to advance and for you to develop. You know, here we are at the start of a brand new year. There's no better time than right now to go ahead and do the self-work. Nobody's perfect. Not a single one of us. As far as we know, no one's ever going to be able to become perfect. However, the good news in that is that means that there's always something for you to do. There's always an area of yourself that you can work on, that you can improve. See the need, meet the need. And as you keep on challenging yourself, identifying your weaknesses and your faults and flaws, and working to strengthen them, to eliminate them, to become better, your worth will increase. Some people don't care about worth because they know intrinsically that, hey, I don't have too much in my name right now. My net worth out here in these streets, it's not too much. But as you work and improve yourself, you will find that not only do you become more willing to acknowledge what your worth is and to recognize your worth, but you become proud of yourself. You stand a little taller. You breathe a little deeper. You carry yourself better. You walk different. You talk different. You refer to yourself differently. You allow people to speak to you only in certain ways. You don't allow people to play in your face and talk foolishness to you because you understand that I'm above that now. That's what happens when you recognize your worth and you take steps to increase said worth. And when it's all said and done, you can build someone that you can truly be proud of, who your children, who your family, who your loved ones can be proud of. But it all starts first by knowing your worth and then recognizing wherever I am, whether I like where I am or whether I don't like where I am, it's insufficient. We can do more. We will do more. We must do more. I am doing more. We'll catch y'all next week, same time, same place. Make sure to like, subscribe, share. Tell somebody about these somebodies. All right? Love y'all.
Love y'all. Definitely. See you guys next week. Thank you so much. And we're going to have a hell of a year this year. So stay on board because it's only going to get bigger and better. Peace, family.
Yay.
Buckle up, baby.
Yeah.
On the album, we do things like songs that are a little, what we call sexy. You can see from the title, it's more of a love album.